Instagram. So there we go. Good morning. If you are joining Facebook, YouTube, we're live. Welcome to our Wednesday morning movement. Let's see if we can go live on Instagram as well. Instagram looks as if it's going live. Everything's working technically so far, touch wood. Let us do some movement, just some very easy movement, just to ease us in to the day, get us set up. Start with a little bit of shaking. So just gently shaking out the wrists, using the legs, and just freeing up the shoulders. See if you can just let those shoulders go. Also let the back of the head go a little bit as we're shaking, because we tend to hold that tension there. So just shaking out gently. And if it's comfortable, you can tap the heels into the ground. That gives you that little bit more vibration. Feel it through the bones. And it's always good when you're doing a little bit of shaking to use a cleansing and clearing breath. And that's where we take that fuller breath in and let go. Do that again. Fuller breath in and let go. Free up those shoulders. Fuller breath in and letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Just take a rest for a moment. Just connect the palms to the ground, soften into the knees. Keep that little bit of roundness in the elbows. And we're just letting the breath settle, just letting the body balance for a moment. Palms facing front. Pulling down, breathing in and breathing out. Now the breath is just very light and soft and gentle in and out through the nose. So quiet breathing. And then just taking a rest. Let's do palms facing forwards. Just letting the breath settle, the body balance again. And then rotating from the center, just knocking. Really easy, just glancing side to side. Just taking a glance side to side, following that rotation through the spine. Really easy, effortless almost. Breath is very soft, quiet. And we're just letting those elbows bend and you're tapping across the belly. And then you can see tapping across there, just tapping the back of the hand, just tapping onto the back, getting some blood flow into the lower back. And slowing down now into water waves, slow motion, resistance, a little bit of resistance. It's rotating through that pelvis, so you'll see the pelvis rotating, going back. do a little bit of work now on that upper spine. So we often get tight here in our thoracic spine. I know I do if I'm sitting a lot doing online stuff. So we're going to bring our palms together. So really press the palms together there in front of the heart, center in front of the heart. And we're going to lift the heart to the sky. So we're just going to extend, open and lift that heart up to the sky. Now it's a really good cue that, because what I'm doing is I'm opening up then here in that upper back, in that thoracic spine. I'm not just tilting my whole spine backwards. So watch that we're not trying to compress, or we're not compressing here in that lower back. You're just lifting, extending, and then it's just helping by bringing the elbows back. And then we can come back, press palms together. We go into like almost like a little bow, and that is moving. It's getting some articulation through that upper, well, through the whole spine, obviously, because we can't just isolate one particular muscle or one particular joint. The whole body works together, but we're just focusing on that upper back. Great if you're sitting a lot at screens all day. It's also nice to open up the throat as well. Heart to sky. As you're bringing your palms together, you can put as much pressure there. You can really press those palms together there and really feel that tension, good tension through the arms as well. Resistance training doesn't have to just be with weights. You can create resistance by pressing those palms together. Let's do 2 more. And then take a rest. Moving on from that, so just developing that a little bit, we'll start with tilting the pelvis forward. So pelvis tilts as if you're spilling out the front. That will take the spine with it, but rather than just take the spine directly with it, we'll do that lifting of the chest again, lifting of the chin, and then we'll roll down, and then we'll tilt the pelvis underneath, and we just do a nice roll up. So tilt the pelvis first. Keep that chest lifted, chin lifted, and then chin drops to chest. And roll up. So we're getting that whole spine involved now in that spine wave. You have a little bit of softness in the knees, but you should get that nice lengthening of the hamstrings, of the fascia in the hamstrings, the glutes. And if I just show you from the side, again, I'm tilting the pelvis forwards, chest lifts, chin, and then I'm here, then I'm really rolling vertebra by vertebra up as I'm tucking the pelvis underneath. All the work is coming from, or all the movement is starting from that center, the pelvis. Spine waving. And of course, as I say, every single session, if anything hurts, if there's any pain, you stop. It's not about forcing, it's not about pushing. So if you can breathe easy, all is good. Let's do do 2 more. And then just taking a rest. Shake out, have a little move around if you need to move around a little bit. And then come back to shoulder width apart. Bit of dog wags the tail, pelvis stays parallel to the ground. You can feel the weight shift side to side, and then just freeing up that spine side to side laterally. Again, same thing, the pelvis moves and then the spine waves on top of that. It's a consequence of that movement of the pelvis. Again, just breathing easy. And slowing down, taking a moment, letting the breath settle, let the body balance, then bringing your feet hip width apart. So we're going directly under the hips, and we are going to balance. I will mirror you on your right leg. So we use that hip to lift the opposite hip and the opposite foot off the ground, and then we just be careful that you've got space behind you on this one. Make sure you're not going to kick anything behind you. Just swing that leg, keeping it pretty straight and keeping the foot flexed. Just swinging, so you're just freeing up that hip on the swing leg. Again, I'll just show you from the side. I'll show you with this leg actually from the side. So when the leg is swinging, you're getting that freedom in the hip. There's a little bit of movement in that lower back, but I'm not doing this type of movement. I'm just freeing up this swing leg. You can always put your hand in the lower back there just to make sure that you can feel a little bit of movement, but there's not a huge amount of movement there. So just swinging that free leg. So you can use the tigers if you want to use the tigers to balance on, or because we're focusing on just freeing up the hip, it's a great balance exercise too. But if you're struggling with the balance, just rest on something, because we're just focusing on getting this leg swing working. If you are balancing, make sure you're not gripping too much with the toes. If you're stable and supported on the foot or the leg that you're balancing on. Just freeing up that swing leg and then changing, swapping sides. Take a moment just to balance evenly. Stabilize. Use this hip to lift that hip and then swing. And again, you can imagine you've got your hands on two tigers, and if there's two tigers there, you're not going to force down on them, you're just going to gently rest on them. Or you can just let your arms relax. Or as I say, if you want to use a chair, you can balance on a chair or a table or a surface. But the idea is just freeing up this swing leg. Opening up this hip. Think what happens when you walk and when you run, particularly when you run, the leg swings back and it swings through. So we're just getting that leg, that hip opened up. And take a rest, have a little shake if you need a little shake. Take that moment to balance evenly between the two sides, see what difference that feels like at all in the hips. In the stabilization, and then we go back, make sure you're hip width, back to supporting and stabilizing on the right side, and then we're going to swing this leg across, and again really free up that hip, across the front of the body. Don't worry if you wobble a little bit, it's all good. Gets the brain working, gets the neurons firing. See how free you can make this swing leg. And take a rest. Balance. Nice and tall. Breath settle, body balance. Stabilize on the left, use that left hip. You're pushing that left hip down into the ground to lift this right hip, and then you can swing that across. Breathing easy, not holding the breath. See if you can just breathe in and out through the nose. Freeing that hip. And as I say, if you have any pain, if it hurts, you just stop. And take a rest, have a little shake out. Balance again. And then stabilize on the right, and then we're just going to swing across and down. And across and down. So just going side to side. Always a good one to do. You might hear some little clunks and clicks, and again, as long as that's not painful, as long as nothing falls off, you'll be all right. Let's do one more each side. And shake out. Good, just stand for a moment and again, see how everything is woken up, hopefully, here around the hips. See how that feels. Notice how that feels. And then we're going to stay hip width apart. We're going to do a little bit of a swing. So if you bring your arms up, so just raise your arms up, and now just let them drop. Completely drop. Let them swing. So again, raise your arms up. It's like you've got a little string on your wrists. Raising your arms up and drop. Again, just be careful that you haven't got anything behind it. You're going to whack your fingers on because it really hurts if you do. Raise your arms up. And drop. And now we're just going to add to that. Raise your arms up. And as you drop, you're just bending your knees, and there's a little bit of a double bounce, and then the arms fly back up, and then they drop, and they come back up, and they drop, and they come back up, and they drop. So you're doing nothing, you're just letting everything go there. And think of it like with all the Qigong flow stuff, it's one continuous movement. So I'm not stopping here, I'm not holding anything there, I'm just letting go. Comes up and I let go. Again, it's really nice for the spine, the hips, everything. Bit of fun as well. Let's do a few more in your own time. Get Get the heart rate up a little bit. And take a rest when you're ready. Good. Now give yourself that time just for the heart rate to lower, the breath to settle. Should have warmed you up a little bit. Let's take our feet shoulder width apart. We'll raise our arms up again. This time when we raise our arms up, we'll just come raise up onto the bubbling springs. So just ball of the foot, lifting the heel, and then we just let go. But when we let go, we feel that vibration through the body. So we're not letting go and dropping into the knee drop. And again, if there's any pain, you stop. Raising the bubbling spring. So you're just coming onto the ball of the foot. And then drop. Feel that vibration. Keep the knees soft, but just feel that vibration through the body. Raising the bubbling spring and drop. Make sure you don't go through the floor. Let's do 2 more. Raising the bubbling spring. Breathing. Make sure you're breathing. Drop. And drop. Good. Shake out, shaking the legs out. Back to shoulder width apart. Just let the breath settle for a moment. We're going to some tigers. So palms facing forwards. Tiger claws, remember that engages all of the muscles in the back, which is really nice. Keep that chest lifted so we have that openness of the chest. We've got that thoracic spine extended, lifted, just dropping down, coming up. Nice and slow. And think of it as the breath is just natural. So if you want to breathe with the movement, i.e. maybe you're breathing out as you're moving down, in as you're moving up, or vice versa. But what I want you to get is that it's almost like endurance tigering, is that you don't have to think about breathing in a particular way. The breath doesn't have to, you don't have to use the movement to help you to breathe. Very much if you were just going for a very light walk, you don't have to breathe in a particular way. You can just let that breath be natural, in and out through the nose. Let's do 2 more. And take a rest. If you need to, again, just have a little bit of a shake out of the legs. I can't see the time. Let me have a look at the time. It's good. Let's do, if you've got space to move forwards, that's great. So we can almost like do a forwards walk. If you haven't got space, we step forwards and move back. So we step forwards. I'll mirror you with the left foot. You got that little bit more weight through the left side. Right heel maybe peels off the ground a little bit, and then you come back up. Now if you can keep going forwards, you just step forwards. You're going slightly out with the foot and the knee, so you've got space to drop. And then you come back to standing, step forwards. It's not a big step. If you haven't got space, then you just step back and step forwards. But making sure you shift the weight to that forward leg as if you were about to step forward. The weight shifts onto that forward leg. I think Tom on Zoom has gone for his breakfast. Debbie's going as well. Everybody's going. Bye. See you Monday. Let's do one more each side. This is a fun one to do when you're out in the park and people are watching you and you're just going, yeah, I'm playing, and you're just walking through the park like this. And then shake the legs out. Let the breath settle, come back to shoulder width apart with the feet, a little bit of softness in the knee. Let's do pulling down, breathing in, breathing out. One more, taking us into bamboo in the wind. So we're linking the thumbs, we're resting on the lower dantian, bringing the feet together, just letting the elbows just rest into the side of the body, closing your eyes. Just letting the body unwind from all the work we've been doing for the past 30 minutes. And taking now a calm, full breath in through the nose, expanding the ribs, filling the lungs. A little pause at the top of the breath as you open your eyes, step your feet out. Let's bring the palms together over the head, just pressing the palms together, bringing the hands down the back of the neck, over the body. And having a little shake, a little kick. Excellent. Hopefully that's woken you up, got you set up for the day. Next, I'll be back on Monday. We'll do the breath work on Monday as usual. Next Wednesday, if you're watching on social media, there won't be a session next Wednesday because I'm traveling over to Spain for the Oxygen Advantage Instructor Training and for Costa Brava. If you are BBM members on Zoom, you will have a session with Alice next Wednesday. So you'll get the automatic email just giving you the details of logging in for Alice. But we will be back on Monday. So be back here, same time, Monday morning, to focus a little bit more on the breath. And as always, if there's anything anybody wants to cover in these sessions, in the breath work, predominantly breath work or the movement sessions, then just message me, DM me or email me or whatever, and we can cover that as well. Brilliant. Thanks for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you Monday.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.